to identify an unknown, one needs to have a pure culture. A pure culture is obtained by doing a streak plate. So once you do a streak plate and have isolated colonies, you can pick one of those colonies and then take the sample and put it on a gram stain, or do a gram stain, and then the rest of it you can put on another streak plate for a pure culture, and then you can use that subsequent streak plate pure culture to use for other tests. Okay, so once you do the gram stain, that's really critical because that'll lead you to these flow charts. And these flow charts in the back of your lab manual, you have a gram-positive cocci, you have gram-negative rods, and you have gram-positive rods. We don't have gram-negative cocci in this class, so we don't have that as an option. And then if it's a gram-negative rod, or in some cases, then you would go to a subsequent chart. So, for example, if a gram-negative rod, then you might go to the family Enterobacteriaceae. Okay. So we're going to first do a gram stain. So our example is going to be E. coli, and so we do a gram stain, and that's a gram-negative rod. And so we'll go to that chart. Okay, and so the first thing we want to do once we get to that chart is look at the first test, and the first test says that we're going to do an oxidase test. Okay. And so we do an oxidase test, and then we look down here at this chart, a table of all the tests that we did this quarter, and the oxidase test is negative. So that means we're going to go to the Enterobacteriaceae chart. Okay, and then we're going to do, the first one is the lactose fermentation. Okay, so we look at carbohydrate fermentation, and it's lactose is acid gas, so that's a positive. So that means we're one of these species. Okay, then we'll do the next test is the indole test, and so that one is positive. And so we'll go over to here, and that narrows it down to 4 species. And then we'll do the citrate test, and that's negative, and so then that puts us on this one species, Escherichia coli, or E. coli. And so in a matter of a few different tests, we're down to E. coli and have identified a potential unknown. Okay, so it is a matter of only doing the tests that you need. We did all of them because we were learning the techniques of how to do the test. But when you're working with a specific unknown, you only need to do certain tests, and it can save lots of time and money if you do the tests that are indicated and not the tests that don't really tell. So in this case, for Enterobacteriaceae, because it was indole positive, we did not have to do any of these tests: the Voges-Proscar, the methyl red, the lysine decarboxylase, and so forth. So it's a quick way to figure out the unknown.